So, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is going to be a bit of a mixed bag because as much as I like this game, it has some problems. Just so you're aware going into this, there will be no spoilers in this review, so you don't need to worry about that. And assuming everyone's ready, let's get right into it. So, if you've been interested in this game, you've probably heard about the biggest issue this game has, and that's performance. I can't speak to consoles, but as a PC player with a high-ish spec machine, specs on screen, I can say that the performance is frankly unacceptable. I'm going to contradict myself here in a minute, but let me give you the bad up front. The amount of settings I had to lower just to play this game somewhere around 50 FPS, with frame drops being a regular occurrence, was absurd. Along with the fact that the game, or at least Cal, often looked terrible as a result of this. I am by no means a game developer, but I simply cannot explain to you why this game runs this poorly without any good reason to do so. It just doesn't look good enough to justify this. As it stands right here, right now, I am not recommending you pick this game up today. It's simply not in the state that justifies you handing your money over. That being said, when they fix the performance issues and maybe even put it on sale, I'm telling you that you're going to want to play this. I am a huge frame rate snob because I get motion sickness, but frankly, once I got my settings more or less figured out, it may have annoyed me, but it was in the back of my mind because my god, this game is fun as hell. And the story, I can't even describe why it's so good without spoilers, but trust me when I say if you get to the top of the roller coaster, the rest of this game is going to be a hell of a ride. Everything that made the first game great is here and only being expanded on, with no annoying skill resets or anything like that. Instead, only adding on to your arsenal. I'm very much not good at games like this, but I played through on Jedi Master difficulty, and even with the game reviewer debuff, I thoroughly enjoyed the challenge. The game is a teacher and will only impart lessons the hard way, forcing you to get better whether you like it or not. There was many times where I ran into a new enemy and thought, this is absolutely insane. How could you expect me to contend with these guys? Only to realize an hour later that they were nothing for me anymore and I had moved on to the next problem. Practice makes perfect, and this game will have you always searching for perfection as it throws enemy after enemy at you until you know their attack patterns by heart. It is a bit weird though, as where some games suffer from difficulty spikes, the game here seems to suffer from more of an issue with difficulty dips. Outside of the last couple boss fights, I found myself dying to and frustrated by new enemy types more than a lot of the mini bosses you'd encounter. Now, I say mini bosses, but they'd have the big health bar and say boss defeated when you killed them, so I don't know what to think there. Also, even some of what were obviously bosses seemed to lack a real challenge where even I could beat them within a few attempts. That being said, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't be showing footage of the fights here, but some of the boss fights are brutal affairs that feel extremely good to come out ahead of. On top of that, this game has some of the most enjoyable writing that we've gotten in the Star Wars universe in a long time. There's enough funny moments here to almost make up for all the times Rian Johnson thought you were going to laugh during The Last Jedi. NPC dialogue is one of those things that can be really cringy, but when done right, like it is here, can make a game feel so much better than it has any right to. So often would troopers or droids be talking to each other before you engage them in combat with funny quips that made me want to go and rewatch Clone Wars or even the main movies. On top of that, NPCs would react to combat and how it was going. If you were down on health, they would get excited, they would get energized, thinking that they might pull this one off. Or the last one alive will always have some interesting way to react to it, either resigning themselves to death or fortifying themselves for the battle to come. It's just so good. The game has a serious story and it does a fantastic job balancing its serious moments with time to relieve tension. Like my second favorite boss fight, which almost serves as a reward for getting through a tough section of the game.
The Jedi! Get ready to die! Ah!
Rick the door technician. While there is only a handful of set pieces, there's a chance that this one lands in my top 10 for gaming as a whole, as Meryl will use her Dathomorian magic to portal you through the air, shifting from place to place as you look for an opening to destroy an Imperial machine ripping a temple to pieces. It's been so long since I've actually yelled at my monitor out of joy expressing how cool a game was, and again, without spoiling, I was doing the same thing during major moments of the plot. Alright, I'm desperate to discuss this game's big moments with you, but they're best left for you to experience on your own, so I'm going to try and control myself here and wrap it up. As I said in the beginning, as of today, I cannot in good faith recommend you spend your hard-earned money on this game. The performance issues are not something that we can allow or encourage by paying for this game before they're fixed. That being said, after spending over 20 hours with this game in 2 days to get this review out, to me, it was absolutely worth it. I know, I'm nothing if not a hypocrite. The challenging but mostly fair gameplay, the customization options, the exploration, the variety of locations, the characters you meet along the way, the side content, and I never thought I'd say this going into it, but the damn story as well. I loved this game. There's elements of the Star Wars universe that could not be more perfectly represented here, and that deserves praise. If we take the technical issues out, this game is easily an 8.5 out of 10 for me, but unfortunately, we can't. This has become a very poor standard in the gaming industry in the last couple of years, and as much as I'm a fan of seeing a game for what it is underneath and looking for positives, the product you'd receive today is not worth what they're charging you. This is not an indie studio run by 4 people. They don't deserve a break on this. Now, can we attribute EA being the publisher to what happened here? Probably. But regardless of why it happened, it did. I'm extremely frustrated by this because I really want to tell you to go buy this game, but this one thing is holding me back. For what it's worth, the link to my Discord and Twitter are in the description below. If it's been a little while and there's been some updates, but you're unsure if the game is ready to buy yet, at me or shoot me a message and I'll do my best to update you personally on the state of the game, as I'll likely be diving back in after this review is out. Alright, well, I try to keep it short for you guys, so there it is. Hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. I've got a very big series on Assassin's Creed on the way in preparation for Mirage's release later this year. With that said, this is Purple signing off. Have a wonderful night, and always remember to smile. Thanks, guys.